Hi, my name is Johannes Charlier. I'm the chair of COMBAR and I will introduce you to the fourth joint COMBAR working group meetings. COMBAR deals with anthelmintic resistance in ruminants. So let's first ask the question, why does worm control matter? It matters because it's important for guaranteeing the health and welfare of our livestock. But not only of our livestock, it's also important for ensuring food security and providing safe, high-quality food for people, thus also for the health and well-being of people. Helminth control is also critical for maintaining productivity of our animals and thus for farm profitability and farm sustainability. And finally, there are also important environmental aspects. We need good helminth control for keeping our animals on the grass, on the pasture, and by reducing helminth infections, we also reduce greenhouse gas emissions from livestock. So let's have a look on what we know on the problem of anthelmintic resistance. Anthelmintic resistance has long been described in different animal species, cattle, sheep and goats, horses, pigs, and against different anthelmintic classes like the benzimidazoles, levamisole, microcyclic lactones, and other, and against various parasite species. Anthelmintic resistance is a global problem, but it's definitely also a European problem, and basically we can say if you look for it, you will find it. Here I present you an important recent study produced by our COMBAR consortium. What we did here is we summarized all 535 studies measuring anthelmintic resistance in a European region. So we present you here the best knowledge today on anthelmintic resistance prevalence in various animal species and different anthelmintic classes in Europe. What we see from this study is that first, there is an increasing trend over time, so prevalence increases in time. And secondly, whereas previously AR was primarily considered a problem in small ruminants, in goats and sheep, where we can also visibly see the problem, today we can say that the prevalence of AR is at least as high, or in some cases higher, in cattle than in sheep. For instance, for the important class of microcyclic lactones. Another important study conducted within our COMBAR consortium was a first assessment of the economic burden of helminth infections to the ruminant livestock industry. But we did not only assess the impact of infections, but also we estimated for the first time the impact of resistance. And the result we got was that the impact of macrocyclic lactone resistance alone is estimated at 38 million per year. So clearly it's time for action. And we were lucky to be granted with a COST action. COST actions don't fund research, but they allow researchers to create a network and to coordinate their research. So within COMBAR, we are fostering scientific exchange and hoping to use that to implement tools and approaches for the common aim of combating anthelmintic resistance in ruminants. We have 33 official members, and the different countries in Europe or near neighbor countries are shown on the map, but we do also interact with various parts of the world. And you can see that also in this meeting, where we have some presentations, for instance, from Canada and from Brazil. What are our aims? Our aims are research coordination. We aim to bridge the gap between different disciplines: diagnostics, vaccines, targeted selective treatments, plant-based control, decision support. Now, all of these topics are very active areas of research on their own, but they need to work more closely together towards the common objective of finding solutions for AR. Moreover, we believe that these topics or disciplines on themselves will not suffice to tackle the problem, but we need to bring on board new techniques and new knowledge, specifically from the economic and social sciences, so that we can better understand our human behavior and try to change it in a better direction. We are also doing capacity building by organizing training on various topics, and we are establishing links with the industry as a whole, with the regulatory sector, so that on the one hand, new knowledge can be transferred to the end user, but also on the other hand, that we as researchers understand well the wider environment where our research should find solutions and should find new techniques. And finally, of course, we are disseminating our activities, our outputs to the wider audience. Our activities are mainly managed by a core group, and I'm very happy that I can rely on a very strong group with strong parasitologists from across Europe. We have organized our activities in 3 working groups, one on diagnosis, one on understanding the socioeconomics, and then the third one where everything should come together so that we can develop or define innovative, sustainable control methods. Today, over 200 scientists participate in our action from over 33 countries. And also on this meeting, I hope you will participate in large numbers. Let's have a look at the different working group activities. In working group 1, we are working towards European-wide agreed protocols for the most widely used tests to detect AR. We're also working on a list of all available diagnostics and their technology readiness levels across Europe. For the most promising techniques, we're conducting market analysis to see if they have real potential. And finally, we're mapping the prevalence of anthelmintic resistance in Europe so that we can have the best possible view on the extent of the problem in various regions. In working group 2, we provided training and exchange in the economics of animal health and social sciences. We also assessed the economic impact of helminth infections and anthelmintic resistance. And today, we're mainly active in identifying incentives and barriers for adoption of sustainable worm control practices. Now, these activities together should, towards the end of the action, help us to define good communication strategies on the topic. In working group 3, we're developing and evaluating complementary control approaches. The idea is that we should move towards having a basket of options instead of relying as now on one or a single control options for helminth control. If we can have the choice from a wide array of options, helminth control as a whole will become more resilient to the problem of anthelmintic resistance. Complementary control tools also implies that often they will have to be combined to have optimal efficacy. Different control tools means a lot of different combinations are possible. So we're using predictive modeling to evaluate which tools and which combinations have the highest promise in reducing infection levels in animals and on pasture. All this together can then feed into decision support to know in which situations with which control tools are most fit. This is the meeting program. We have 3 sessions, each taking 2 hours, and they run over 2 different days. Each session has a keynote and short presentations from our researchers, but especially I would like to ask you to take part in a discussion that we will set up via menti.com so that we can have as much inputs as possible and we can know how we can move forward together. So please take part, check our meeting program and register on combar4r.com, check publications and other outputs on our project website, or interact with us via one of our communication channels. So thanks for listening and see you on our meeting. Bye!